The smoke from the plasma cannon drifted in the stale air, dancing like ghosts above the broken battlefield of Velthuris. Buildings lay in ruins, turned to ash by orbital strikes. Bodies, human and alien, were strewn like shattered promises across cracked stone and twisted metal. And in the center of it all stood Kael'var the Yurek, last warrior of the Ninth Legion. Blood from a dozen wounds soaked through the gaps in his obsidian armor. His breathing was ragged, more fire than air. Surrounding him, 10 Rovak enforcers, hulking, monstrous war machines bred for one thing: the extermination of threats. Their metallic exoskeletons pulsed with red energy, and they moved with the confidence of predators who knew they had won. Kael'var did not run. He planted his double-bladed halberd into the ground beside him and fell to one knee. His species did not beg, but in his silence there was an acceptance. "I die with honor," he rasped in Yureki. Then came a voice, soft, human, behind him. "No," it said, "I won't let you die." Kael'var turned his head, and through blurry vision, he saw her, a human woman in torn rebel fatigues, her hands bloodied, her face streaked with dirt and determination. Her name was Alia Trent, Resistance medic turned scout, and she had no weapon but her conviction. "What are you doing here, human?" Kael'var asked, voice strained. "I followed the signal," she said. "Yours." It was broadcasting a distress code. "That code was for my people, not yours." "Too bad," she replied, eyes locked on his. "You're stuck with me now." The Rovak leader advanced. "Surrender, Yurek. Your kind is extinct. You will join them." Alia stepped forward, placing herself between Kael'var and the enforcers. Her legs trembled, but her spine remained straight. "If you want him," she said, "you'll have to kill me first." The enforcers paused. Rovak were bred to kill, not to question. Yet something about this human, her recklessness, her courage, threw them off script. Kael'var could barely rise, but he dragged himself to 1 foot beside her. "Foolish," he muttered. "I do not need your sacrifice." "Then live," she shot back. "Help me stop them. Help us save what's left." In that moment, something ancient stirred inside the Yurek warrior, not instinct but choice. With a roar, he pulled the halberd from the ground, its red blade igniting once more. Together they charged. 12 minutes earlier, Alia had tracked the signal through ruins and flame, ignoring orders to stay with the medevac. The others had called her insane for seeking out a Yurek distress beacon. Weren't the Yurek the enemy once? But not Kael'var. She remembered the day he had saved her team during the siege on Delta 7. How he had fought off a Rovak battalion just long enough for their evac shuttle to escape. He'd refused any reward, just nodded, turned, and vanished. That day had planted something in her. Not love, not then, but something just as dangerous, belief. So when the signal came, she didn't hesitate. Back to the present. The Rovak leader's blade slashed across the air, fast, heavy, lethal. Kael'var deflected it, but the force sent him skidding back. Alia tossed a stun grenade she'd scavenged, blinding one enforcer long enough for Kael'var to pierce its core with his halberd. One down, but they were still outnumbered. "Fall back," Alia shouted. "There's a tunnel, north wall." Kael'var didn't argue. He grabbed her waist, lifting her with one arm as his armor's boosters ignited. Flame and wind tore through the ruins as they shot toward the breach in the wall. Blaster fire screamed past them, one bolt catching Kael'var in the leg. He grunted, but kept moving. They landed hard inside the tunnel, the ceiling collapsing behind them. Silence. Darkness. Alia blinked against the shadows, heart racing. "Are you—" "I will live," Kael'var growled. "Thanks to you." She turned to him. "We need to keep moving. If the Rovak track us—" "No," he said. They won't. This tunnel leads to the deep core. Too dangerous for them. Alya nodded, then winced as her shoulder throbbed. She hadn't realized she'd been hit too. Kael'var noticed. Without a word, he tore a strip from his own armor lining and began dressing her wound. His hands were rough but careful. "You should not have come for me," he murmured. "And you should be dead," she shot back. "But here we are." He looked at her, really looked, and something in his alien eyes softened. "Why?" he asked. "Because the war isn't over," she whispered. "And we need you." Hours later, in the subterranean sanctuary of the Yurek resistance, Kael'var lay in a stasis pod. The medical unit hummed, working to repair muscle and bone. Alya stood outside the chamber, arms crossed, watching him breathe. General Kane, leader of the last Yurek enclave, approached her. "He spoke of you, you know, before his mission. Said there was a human who had earned his respect." Alya smiled faintly. "He barely knows me. Respect comes fast in war. So does loyalty." She turned to the general. "We can't win without him." "No," Kane agreed. "But maybe with you he'll fight again." 3 weeks later, Kael'var stood at the edge of the Resistance's outpost, armor reforged, halberd gleaming. He watched the stars as Alya joined him. "They say the Rovok homeworld is vulnerable now," she said. He nodded. "We strike at the heart. Will you lead them?" Kael'var turned, placing a hand over hers. "Only if you fight beside me." She smiled. "Always." Final battle. The assault on Rovok Prime was madness. Thousands of resistance fighters, human and Yurek, descended from orbit. Kael'var led the charge, carving a path through fire and steel. Alya was beside him, fearless, a blade in one hand, detonators in the other. They fought through the Rovok command spire, side by side, until they reached the core nexus, the AI hive mind that controlled the enforcers. As Kael'var held off the remaining guards, Alya hacked the control console. "Almost there," she shouted. The AI voice boomed. "Surrender. You cannot stop extinction." Kael'var growled. "We already have." Alya hit the final key. The core blinked, then died. Every enforcer across the galaxy dropped. Silence. Then the sound of cheers. Peace, tentative and fragile, settled like dust after a storm. Kael'var stayed on Earth, helping rebuild. The Yurek were no longer feared, but honored. And Alya? She returned to the field, not as a medic, not as a scout, but as a symbol of what could be healed when two enemies chose trust over blood. One night, beneath a sky free of fire, Kael'var took her hand and whispered in her ear, "I was ready to die, but you made me live." She leaned her head on his shoulder and whispered back, "I didn't save you for the war. I saved you for what comes after." And in that quiet, broken galaxy, they began to build something new, together.